Wow. Awesome. Great. Hey guys, welcome to the Jyoti Prakash Global Leadership call. And for everyone on this call, folks who are disqualified on it, congratulations. Okay, folks who are it's three partner on the Rising Eagles on Silvers and Up call. This is going to be an absolutely amazing call. So fired up about it, and just the magnitude of it being a global call, literally all across the world, and emeralds and above all across the world is going to be adding value on this call. But thank you, Rashmi and Smita, for setting this call up on such a massive scale. Absolutely appreciate your leadership in that. We are Vinod and Abhida, and by profession, we are both electrical engineers. We actually come from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and our clients are Manoj and Arpita from Rochester. We are part of the Vijay and Kea, Gaurav and Sapna, and of course the Jyoti Prakash team.
Awesome. Hey everybody, welcome to the Global Jyoti Prakash Leadership Call. And couple of key points that I want to mention before we kick off the call is, first thing, make sure you keep your videos on. You want to be able to absorb as much information as possible and not get disturbed with other things happening around you. Make sure if you're not a speaker, you stay muted, so that way you're not disturbing the speaker as they speak. And be prepared to take a lot of notes. We are so fortunate that our own uplines are on the call sharing information with us. And I want to make sure that I'm going to be focused, taking notes. So stay tuned, stay plugged.
Yep. But we do have the honor of hearing, of course, from the top leadership in this organization. And you'll hear from Rashmi and Smita, and I know Ganesh and Rekha are going to be coming in. But we are fired up, guys. Make sure you take a lot of notes. There'll be a lot of takeaways from here. Okay. I want to pass it on to Rashmi and Smita. And here you go. Thank you, Rashmi and Smita. Thanks again.
Great, guys. Welcome, everybody. Fantastic to have everybody on the global call. Of course, this is Rising Eagles and above, three partner honoring legs globally. I know we have Australia, UK, New Zealand, Vietnam, Jamaica, of course, North America, US, Canada, Singapore, India market, a lot of markets dialed in here. So welcome everybody. This is going to be a very, very special call. We have a very power-packed agenda, but this is we are reversing the order of the call today. To kick it off, we're going to have none other than our own upline double diamonds, Ganesh and Rekha. We're going to be speaking to you. But just before we bring them up, I want to take a quick minute. I want to share a couple of thoughts with you guys. Of course, when I got registered in the business, my upline Ganesh was in platinum qualification that time. As a matter of fact, when Ganesh was silver, I was not even in the LOS. And from that point, journey has begun, and it has been an absolute unbelievable, phenomenal journey. I still try to take at least a couple of days a week, a couple of times a week, phone time with Ganesh also. I know there's a lot of texting, email that goes back and forth. But I still try to take that to learn. As a matter of fact, just tell you, as recent as 2 days ago, I had a 45-minute call with Ganesh. Again, picking the brain about next phase of business. It's unbelievable how much we continue to learn from this couple. Just absolutely amazing. The cutting edge thought process, the mindset globally they have, and the success they continue to create. It is just mind blowing. And, over the years, of course, not just business wise, financially, health wise, it's amazing how they're doing things they continue to do and amaze us. Okay, I'm going to have Smita say a quick hello. I'm going to have Ganesh and Rekha talk to you.
All right. Hi, everyone. It's going to be a phenomenal call, as you can already feel the buzz, and it's going to be a great session. And, Ganesh and Rekha have definitely agreed to take some time, and we are so appreciative of the fact that, they don't really have to do it, but they have, they have kindly graced this occasion. So we're really excited, and it's going to be incredible, okay, what they're going to share. And we are so thankful for everything that they do for us, not just in business but also in life. And over to
Guys,
you.
I'll tell you this, this organization, not only North America and all markets, will continue to strive to make sure that it's a headache-free, largest, biggest, fastest growing organization. But I'll tell you, we still appreciate, well, they don't even have to spend a single second on this call. We truly appreciate, this is going to be close to midnight our time, them taking time and jumping on. So without further ado, I know we have Facebook Live, Silverson Above on the Facebook group, and I know all the Rising Eagles are here. Let's welcome up Ganesh and Rekha Shanoy. Here we go.
Fantastic. Great. Thank you, Rashmi and Smita. I appreciate you having us here on this call. Am I good to go? Thumbs up. Are we audible? Okay, great. Okay, fantastic. I requested Rashmi that please let me speak first and finish it off with it, because tomorrow morning I have a very early morning long bike ride for I don't know, maybe 50, 70 miles or so, but excited about all the good things happening. But, Rashmi and Smith have really put together a class organization. And of course, over the period of years we have been together, our relationship has, evolved. And it is amazing to see that this couple still is naive and willing to listen and grow. Of course, we have differences, we have our own overcoming, but at any given point of time, they have not really lost that naiveness. And it goes a long way, because you have a lot to gain. More we think that we know about the business, more we realize we don't know about the business. And when I used to hear these kind of statements, I used to wonder, what are they talking about? I've been in the business 20 years. What is that I don't know? But it is pretty amazing how much we don't know. But anyways, I want to dive into my topic, and I just want to kind of give you, there is nothing like a topic, but I just want to kind of give you my suggestions, what I have acquired in the last several years. First thing, of course, this is a big boys club here, and I should not be mentioning this, but anyway, I would still do it. Stay naive and appreciate what you have outside the business and inside the business. And that is a big thing, because if somebody quit when they were 300 points and somebody quit when they were 4,000 points, it is still a quitter. Okay, it is still a quitter. There's no difference actually. Quitter is a quitter. So I don't want you to be in that situation or even think about that. That's why mentally stay naive. Somebody other day asked me, what is the secret of building a large business? Is it people skills? It is work ethic? Yeah, all those things are great. But, just being naive to stay long enough in the business, in spite of all the negatives which people go through in life, I think that is the biggest secret to the business. All right. If you really see Bill Britt, when he was alive, I remember Friday morning, we have a meeting, and he is going through all the lawsuits and all the negative stuff which a company goes through. And still, evening FED, he comes on stage and talks to people as if nothing happened. Same thing with Doug DeVos and Steve and Randall. They might be fighting different battles in different countries for their business. Okay, certain battles with the government, certain recalls, certain negativity, certain lawsuits, somebody suing them and stuff like that. But still, if you really follow them on Instagram and whatnot, you see how the naive they are. And same thing with Milind Pant. And I know some of you follow that. So whatever they are showing by example, I think we need to capture that unsaid message. Staying naive is a big thing. It's not easy. Very easy to say and write down notes, stay naive, but very difficult to do that. Okay, because sometimes we see negatives in the business. Sometimes we see negatives in your upline. Sometimes you see negative in your downline. And it is very easy to judge any of this. It is very easy to judge Amway, Brit Worldwide, T1 Global, if you're in Australia, Brit India, and your uplines and downlines. It's very easy to do that, but you got to stay away from that. Okay, that's a secret, and that is something which I've always done. I go through a lot of different leadership level stuff, but I keep my mentality about the business as pure as what I got started with. Okay, now some of you, most of you are actually, I heard that you have 3 partnership honoring legs, and that's fantastic. See, business has a couple of chapters. The first chapter is width. Now, that is a chapter which you need to finish faster. You can't take this width chapter more than 7, 8, 9 years. Okay, you got to finish it off within the first 3, 4 years and be done with it. Now, 6 is the new 3. That means that 6 partnership honoring leg is a mandatory, because Amway doesn't have any big incomes. I'm talking about big year-end bonuses. Monthly PV check, everybody gets it, but the big bonuses, year-end bonuses, you do not have that if you don't have certain width. I'll give an example at my level right now. This year, okay, this is a COVID year, right? If I have 4,000 PV outside of my number of qualified legs, okay, my year-end bonus is around $200,000. Now, if I don't have 4,000 PV outside of the same number of leg, my year-end bonus is 0. I repeat it. Okay, if I don't have 4,000, year-end bonus is 0. If I have 4,000, year-end bonus is $200,000. Now that 4,000 PV is probably 25 IBOs. 25 IBOs, that's it. 25 IBOs made a difference of $200,000 a year. That's crazy, right? That is where Amway is heading towards. You may not be qualified yet to these levels at this moment, but keep in mind that when you delay your 4,000 PV, when you delay your 7,500, you just don't delay those pins, but you also delay bigger pins. So my question to you, every year, let's say you give a reasonable amount of time. Let's say you give 10 years to go diamond, or let's say 15 years to go diamond. Now, after 15 years, every year you miss going diamond, you lost $250,000 minimum. So now, if you miss 3 years after 15, which is instead of 15 years, you take 18 years to go diamond. Okay, let's say you miss $750,000. Now, my question to you is that, are you so rich that you can afford to miss $250,000 every year? Now, if you really think, how much is that? That is almost a very healthy down payment for a $500,000 house. $500,000 is a healthy down payment for a $500,000 house. So understand the mathematics behind it. So when you're applying, or somebody in your line of sponsorship is pushing you to or nudging you to do certain things, there is a reason behind it, because he or she might be able to see a bigger picture for your business, which you may or may not be able to see at this moment. So it is crucial for you to successfully complete the chapter of width. Okay, because most of the time, when width chapter is still not discovered, still not answered, that getting into the depth chapter is also difficult, because people who do not have the right width, very seldom they have the capacity to drive depth. Okay, so width and depth is hand in hand, of course, but width is more so than the depth, because people who go wide eventually will figure out how to go deep too. So work on that. Now, same way, how do you retain a leg? Learning how to build depth. Because when the deepest point goes deeper, every month or every second month. Now, the width is retained. You don't have to rework that width. When do you have to retain that width? When you have issue with that width which you have put in, it is flimsy, is when you are unable to drive the depth in those width. That is when you have challenge keeping them. So you got to also answer the question, how do you go deep? All right. Sometimes people are good at putting in width, but they have still not figured out how to drive depth. They let the downlines who got launched drive depth by themselves. No, there are two kinds of leadership: hands on, hands off. I've very rarely seen somebody building a massive business hands off. It's always the hands on leadership which succeeds in the long run. If you really see some of the master network builders, Bill Britt, Dexter Yeager, Ron Perrier, Brad Duncan, if you really see all these IBOs in our own upline, Paul and Leslie Miller, Kanti and Ladagala, so many are there. Okay, but if you really see that, if you see the earlier days of their business, I'm sure that you will be able to understand how very fluid they were in these areas, width and depth. Because these are the two chapters which you got to unlock before platinumship. You can't wait to unlock these after platinumship, because after platinumship there are few more chapters, which is building teams and building leaders. Those I can understand you capturing these areas after platinumship, but before platinumship, width and depth should be taken care. Now, all of us are circle drawers. That means that we are fully engaged, vested, and we are absolutely in the zone. Now, we also understand, right? When people give excuses outside the business, we say, oh, middle class thinking. Middle class thinking is what we as entrepreneurs don't connect with. Now, when you are actually not having a good answer when you are going to go Ruby in this business, it also shows a middle class thinking within the business. Okay, I am sorry to offend if you are offended, but I might as well say this actually in front of you so that you know that. So you have to have, after you pass 7,500 points, or in India 10,000 points, but most of you are in a 7,500 market, so I'm taking that with the liberty here. If you are at 7,500 PV market, you should definitely have a goal transitioning to 10,000 and 15,000. Because once you hit those levels, and you absolutely take your leadership to the next level. And more I have understood this business, more I understand that that way of going diamond is much healthier for your business. Okay, you do not think that you are going to replace income after Emerald. You think that you're going to replace income during Ruby. And once you know how to hold 15,000 PV, you will also know how to hold 22,000 PV. What is Emerald? Emerald is 22,000 PV. As a matter of fact, I think it is little more than that. All right, 3 legs at 7,500 point is Emerald. So if you 7,500 point multiplied by 3 is actually that much. But now, how can you hold 22,000 PV month after month if you cannot hold 15,000 PV month after month? Think about it. There is actually no much of a difference. You don't think that you are breaking a leg or somebody went platinum. Just think about volume right now. PV, BV. 15,000 and 22,000 should not see a difference. It's the same thing, but more. So now when the volume is more, you are able to visualize holding that volume for 6 months. But why can't you visualize holding 15,000 PV for 6 months? Think about it. So if you have to write down something in this particular Zoom call, I want you to, today you don't have to rush on this. You don't have to answer this question in a hasty manner. But tomorrow, Sunday is tomorrow. So take a pen and paper and kind of think about your business and find out conservatively which year you want to hit 15,000 PV. All right, which year you want to do it, and don't delay it too long. All right, because guess what? It might have been uncharted territory for you right now, but that doesn't mean that you push after 5 years and stuff like that. Okay, because keep in mind, more you delay platinumship, you're delaying not just platinumship, but you're delaying also bigger pins, emerald and diamond. So work towards developing a sustainable business. Sustainable business is nothing but a business which is built through your own organic leadership. Okay, that's why also it is very important for you to develop a Bluetooth connection with your upline, not a dial-up connection. All right, your upline cannot be like a fire engine where you bring an upline only for quenching fires in your organization. I want you to bring your upline during good times, not just during difficult times in the business. Because if you bring in your upline in your good times, guess what? You will have less of difficult times. But if you always constantly bring in your upline during difficult times, only difficult times will come in front of you. So I want you to develop that communication when you are growing or not growing, doesn't matter. That communication factor has to be very sound, all right? That cannot take a backseat, because understand, when the communication is stalled, then coaching is stalled, and then eventually mentorship is stalled. Believe me, you might be thinking that, oh man, what can I gain from upline after so many years? Some of you have been in the business for 5-10 years. What can I gain from upline? You'll be tremendously shocked. All right, how much can you gain through certain communication? All right, and you will be the biggest beneficiary out there, because the same information, if you have to get through your lawyer or a chartered accountant or a financial advisor or somebody like that, it would cost you a lot of income, lot of money for you to get those decisions. And in this business, through your upline's experience, it is readily available. You can go to Brit Worldwide, you can go to IBOAI, you can go to Amway. There are so many opportunities for you to get it for free of cost. So I hope that you will utilize all these for your benefit and build an amazing opportunity. I'm telling you, I've been free for last over 20 plus years. I'm not here to, in our area, there are a lot of wealthy people, no doubt about it. But among all the wealthy people, only 5 or 6% of them are actually having the best time of their life. The rest of the wealthy people still are wealthy through kind of like a long leash, they're on a long leash, but they still have the leash. But amazing lifestyle, what we have today because of the business. I just came back from surfing right now. Morning I was in pickleball. Tomorrow morning it's biking and stuff like that. It's a dream life, and there's a lot of income to be made, a lot of money to be made. Life is just awesome. We are already thinking of our next home right now, which we are going to build in next 3 to 4 years in Florida on the ocean. And if not for this business, we would never be able to think like this, visualize like this. So life is awesome. You are the best leaders in this call. Jwalant and Asha, so proud of you guys. And, Craig and Kerry Klickner, amazing leaders. And JP and Ritu Kapoor, amazing, to see you guys in the zone and whatnot. And what can I say, Rashmi and Smita? And all the emeralds, I may not have all the time here, luxury of time to mention all the emeralds, but you know who you are and make a impactful difference and build a successful business. It's absolutely worth it. You will be so glad you did what you did. Okay. So back to the host and back to Rashmi and Smita.
Thank you, Ganesh. Really appreciate you taking time at midnight your time. With every single line as nuggets. I was writing down notes here. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. We'll Jyoti Prakash team will be hassle-free, biggest, largest, happiest organization for Sinner banner. No questions about it.
Sure. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you
Bye-bye.
so much. Vinod and Navita, over to you guys.
Awesome.
Thank you.
What a start. This is awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ganesh and Rekha, for joining on. That was awesome. Very, very powerful. But guys, if we can have, okay, we're going to have all the emeralds from all over, okay, all countries, all the emeralds. If you can introduce yourself, if one can introduce the other, if we can go back and forth. But if we can start off with emeralds in qualification from Australia. Okay, Pradeep and Alicia, over to you.
I'm not sure if they're here soon.
Pradeep, Alicia.
I hope you didn't join Facebook Live. There you go.
There you go.
Okay.
Hi everyone, Pradeep and Alisha are coming at you live from Sydney, Australia. The door to this mentorship was opened by our brother Akash and Priyanka, and blessed to be coached and mentored by Piyush and Malvika, going diamonds in hurry. We are really excited about building the business, and after listening Ganesh, it is just going to be amazing, So all the best, everyone. Back to host.
Awesome.
Perfect. So we also have new emeralds from Vietnam. So if you want to introduce yourself, please go ahead. I know I have your names, but I may pronounce it wrongly. So please go ahead. I think it's Tan and Phuong.
Yeah, hi everyone. We are Thanh and Phương from Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam. Back up Leo and Jolie and the Malaysia team. So excited to be here. Ready to learn the knowledge and rock the business. Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, up next, we got emeralds from UK, Som and Mansi.
Hello everyone, we are Somin Mansi from UK, and we are super excited about the business and also.
Yeah, we are excited about the conference call and a lot of nuggets by Ganesh. That was amazing, and we are personally sponsored and coached by none other than Rashmi and Smita, and looking forward for an amazing training tonight. Thank you, and back to the host.
Great, thank you. Yeah, so with that, we're going to move on to the US emeralds. So we'll start off with Jerry and Leanne.
Hey, what's up, Jyoti? Hey, what's up, Jyoti Prakash team? This is Super 5 Jin Leanne coming at you from New York City, coach and mentored by Carlo and the Crane Carey. Super excited about this course. Thank you so much, Rashmi Smith, putting everything together, which is ready to take the business next level, US market, China market, getting founded, getting diamond done next year. Get back to our host.
Thank you. Yep. And we'll move on to Eddie and Cassie.
Hey guys, we are Eddie and Cassie from Chicago. We are part of the Kyle and Lauren Wills Founders Ownership and the Craig and Carey Kushner Diamondship, and we will be double eagles at FED with 125 people and 10 eagles. And over to the next.
Awesome. Next up, we have our own uplines, Vijay and Kia.
Hey guys, Vijay and Kia from Chicago, part of the phenomenal Diamond Going Express of Gaurav and Sapna. Super excited about the momentum and growth happening both in the US and international market. Thank you so much, Rashmi Smita, for this awesome call, and of course, Ganesh and Rekha for the phenomenal kickoff. Over to my wife, Kia. Oh, she's on mute.
Okay, hello everyone. This is Kia here, and just want to really thank Rashmi and Smita for everything that they do for us. Rashmi, Smita, you can count on us. We're absolutely making things happen and growing big time, and we'll be impact players in the entire Jyoti Prakash team worldwide. Back to the host.
Awesome. Thank you, Kia. And with that, it's again over to our upline Emeralds, Gaurav and Sapna.
Hey Jyoti Prakash team, it's a pleasure to say hello and thank you so much Rashmi and Smita for planning this incredible conference call and thinking ahead for the new year starting up in September. Absolutely excited about a great year coming up and off to Gaurav.
Hi team, this is Gaurav here, Gaurav and Sapna Verma from Chicago. Very proud to be sponsored by Rashmi and Smita and having this global call about exactly 5 and a bit weeks before the function, before the new year starts. And as Rashmi has always talked, that if you build the business right, with the foundation strong, you're going to build it very long term and very successful. So we are excited for the upcoming year, and we'll invite Emeralds from Ohio, Girish and Rashmi.
Hey team, Girish and Rashmi Sriram from Ohio. Very excited about tonight's call. Thanks Rashmi and Smita, and looking forward to listening to all the speakers. It's just getting started and all set to go diamond. And Rashmi is also on. I think she's dialed in on her phone. So she can say a quick hello. If not, we can move on to the next speaker. I know she's dialed in from a different room on her phone. So super excited.
Awesome. All right, guys, make sure you take a lot of notes. Okay, going on from here, I'm going from here. We have founders, emeralds, and above. Okay, so the first couple we're going to invite up are all the way from Vietnam. Okay, founders, emeralds, Leo and Julie. Leo, can you hear us?
Andy, what's their Zoom name? I think they're probably not able to unmute. Text me the Zoom name, Andy, for Leo. Okay, Leo Chan. I don't see. Yeah, I can see. Leo, we can. You're unmuted. We can. But we can't hear you.
Sorry, this is Piyush here. Leo, you have to turn your video on. Otherwise, we can't hear you anyways, and we can't spotlight you.
Let's move on to Andy and Patricia.
Okay. All right, guys. Yeah, we'll move on to the next speakers. Actually, Andy and Patricia. They're from Texas and humongous business all across the world. That Andy and Patricia. Looking forward.
Hi team, this is Andy and Patricia. Super excited to be part of this call. We are part of the Van and Tejo founder Emerald Rowing team. So in fact, sorry, we are somewhere on the interstate going to Florida. So all right, so our topic tonight is going to talk about grow global business, grow local and grow global business. And when we first started business, we learned from our upline that we always act local and think global. Always have a global mindset and a global vision to grow the business, because Amway is in every country possible almost on this planet. So the opportunities are so huge for us. But we must start with a local business and grow a local business. And we always see offline, Rashmi and Smita, they started their business in Chicago, and they grew a huge base out of Chicago. And from there, they have huge business everywhere. Same thing with us. The local city is where we spend most of our time, at least 5 days a week. That is where we spend our time. So it makes logical sense to have a large business there. And for us, we always consider Houston as a local aircraft carrier, where we build that base, that foundation, so we can launch to different cities and different countries for that matter. And it should be for us no question about having a large local business, and that is where we have the proximity to people. It's our time, it's our resources that is close to our team. Another thing is that the business is based on the relationship, right? The closer the proximity, the easier for us to build that relationship with our leader and grow them. But that does not prevent us from having a long distance business or global business, because of the internet, the infrastructure has already been, we are in favor for us to build this business nowadays. And this business is about finding and develop people. It's about one leader leading 1,000. So it is critical to put that time and effort to identify and develop that leader and build that team around them. And of course, with the guidance and mentorship of our upline, we're able to do that in many different countries. And the same opportunity can be for you. And certainly it will take effort, it will take work ethic, leadership, and having a big dream to grow and develop this business. And of course, with technology, we can build this business everywhere that Amway presents. But for us, we always take the guidance. We always run through our offline to see whatever makes sense for us to go into a country first. How we can maximize or leverage the resources that we have and maximize the income potential from each of the country that we think about entering. And last thing I want to share is that in the case for our business, every leg that we have in Vietnam or other countries are started from the legs that we have in Houston area. So the same opportunity can be for you. And with that, I'd like to invite my wife, Patricia, to share with you. Yeah, can someone unmute Patricia, please?
All right, hi team. Hello, Jyoti Prakash leaders. Super excited to share with you a couple of points here. We have learned from our upline, Rashmi and Smita, that the fastest the business is based on growing the AB list, right? So even though we know that we have to focus on the local city, but we have to work. Every IBO that we launch in the business might not be the same, because some people, let's say for example, some people they started but they don't have AB list in Houston, for example, or even in the US, but maybe a couple of their lists is in Canada, or majority of them maybe in Vietnam. So we're focusing on where the AB lists are. And then eventually, the people, we might start someone in Houston, and then we chase the AB list, we chase the depth, and the depth might go to Canada, the depth might go to Vietnam, to the south, to the north, and then eventually it will go back to the US. So, but at the same time, when we work with people, running depth or building the legs, we focus on the AB list, but at the same time we help and cultivate our leaders so that they have the vision to grow the global team. Because sometimes a lot of people might have the thinking that it would be easier to build the local business, and it would be so much barrier building the long distance or international team. But with the technology nowadays, to us, the team in Vietnam or in other country, it's nothing. It's just the same as a long distance team, right? It's just a different time zone. We have Zoom call. We have all of the technology that nowadays is in our favor. We look at the COVID is also a good opportunity as well, because people nowadays feel we are closer to each other. So we can, that there's pretty much there's no barriers. But of course, we focus on the local team and develop the leaders. The most important thing is people have to have the skill set and the mindset to build a team of 10, and then eventually multiply the team or multiply the leaders to 20 to 40 and to 50s. If somebody can get to the team of 10 and then duplicate themselves, or they can build another leaders in the local or a long distance, and eventually they can be able to take the team to global as well. And back to Andy.
Great, thank you so much, Andy and Patricia. Can you hear us, Andy?
I think Andy is not muted yet.
Yep.
It's still muted, so someone can unmute Andy, please.
All right, we are good. Back to host Vinod and.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Andy and Patricia. So with that, the next speakers are founders Emeralds Devang and Tejal Goradia from Texas.
All right. Hello, team. This is Devang and Tejal from Houston, Texas. Super excited to be on this conference call. We are absolutely blessed to be part of one of the best line of sponsorship. Thank you, Girish and Rashmi Sriram, for all that you do for our team. And of course, Rashmi and Smita Jyoti Prakash. Yesterday, I was talking to Atlanta team, FNH, and I was telling that being part of Jyoti Prakash team itself, the moment you tell anybody else we are part of Jyoti Prakash team, they suddenly start expecting a higher standard from you automatically. And that puts a pressure on us, but at the same time, that's a privilege that we have, that we have the best upline who set the standard very, very high over the world. But talking about 2020-21, which is about to start in a month and maybe a week time from now for Amway fiscal year. Okay, what we have learned from uplines, what we have learned from our own business in the past. The previous year, which is about to end, this might have been a great year for us, might not have been a great year for us, doesn't matter. We carry the positive, the learnings that from the previous year, but we move on to the next year by leaving the negative emotions behind. Okay, and carry forward with the the fresh mind. If, for example, if I am moving to a new country, if I'm moving to a new college, for example, okay, I'll be going with a new hope, forgetting about my past. I might have failed in my previous exam, but I go with a new hope. And same way, start with a new hope, new enthusiasm. The best time to, of course, start planning for the next year is, of course, March, April of the current year 2020. But if you have missed that, at least this is a good time to start building some momentum in August. So how do you utilize month of August for creating that momentum? If you have seen those athletic games and those 400x4 relays, where there are 4 people from the same team competing and passing on the baton, and the next person starts running. When the person is running, he is not even having the baton in his hand, but he starts running, and then eventually gets the baton from the other person and picks up the run. It's building the momentum, so getting out of the inertia, building that momentum, so that we can get September not as a fresh start, but also as a running. Okay. Second thing is, of course, list down the things that you maybe you want to change in the year. List down the things which slowed you down in the previous year. What distracted you, what took you away from your focus, if at all you miss the goal. Okay, if you hit the goal, continue with that run. But if you miss the goal, what defocused you or distracted you, take those items away and put them on the side, back burner for at least next 12 months. Okay, and go with the next positive enthusiasm. At the same time, understand that if you are the hardest working IBO, whether it's in your upline team, your team, doesn't matter, you are allowed to outwork and outlearn everybody around you. including your uplines. Okay. And so, go with that enthusiasm, go with that momentum, go with that mindset, and, put that month of August as your first month of whatever pin that you want to shoot for in the next year. So with that, here is Sejal.
Thank you, Rashmi and Smita, for giving us an opportunity to share our thoughts. And hey, Jyoti Prakash team, very excited about the new year coming up in around 37 days. And Devangan always excited about the new year because it brings new hopes, new aspiration. And, Rashmi and Smita has always told us that in this business, you will get what you are prepared for, not you wish for. And I think August is the best month that we can get preparation started for the next year. And also, the biggest preparation would be that how many more qualifiers we can get to DTL. That would be the, first priority for us. And also, when we make a growth as a priority, a lot of things will change for sure, because you will bring the best out of us or best out of you. And also in turn, you will bring out the best in the team. And also when you are intentional about the focus, the next 13 game plans becomes very crucial because each month counts. And also when you are counting on each month, it means that your daily habit also should match with our, goal for the next year. And for that, Devang and I always, our motto is that how we can monitor our daily activities on a daily basis. And also a lot of when we decide to work hard, chances are there will be a lot of failures. Encourage those failures. Bring that environment of failure, because the more we fail, the more we learn. So, more you fail, understand that, we have to learn out of that, not to keep on failing again and again, but making the best out of it. And the best part we have learned is to be happy about the journey, whatever accomplishment we are doing. And we are always happy, and we are very grateful to our uplines, our downlines, our crosslines, and this BWW system. And with that, back to the one.
Great, guys. We are going to bring up the next couple from, Wisconsin, Brandon and Amanda Woods.
All right. Hey, Jyoti Prakash team. Brandon Amanda coming at you from Madison, Wisconsin. And everybody that spoke has just done an amazing job. And we're taking notes. We're learning a lot right now. Hope you guys are taking notes and learning a lot. We treasure these calls. And thank you, Rashmi and Smita, for allowing us to share and add some insight. Rashmi and Smita asked us to talk about something called Super A-List and how we've been really systematically approaching that in our team, how we've been seeing a lot of success with that in our organization as well. And if you're not familiar with what this is, there's three types of lists, right? There's A-list, B-list, and C-list. Well, within A-list, everybody has what's called Super A-list. And Super A-list is like the 7 to 10 individuals that you're really, really close with. And a lot of times they're individuals that you have a really, really good relationship with, but you maybe don't have the best credibility with, because they're the ones that know your weaknesses and they've seen your flaws and different things like that as well. Now, we know that you get your fastest growth going from A-list to A-list. So the Super A-list is something where you can really help people maximize and gain a lot of traction if you know how to approach it appropriately. So we only have a limited amount of time. We can only cover so much with you here tonight, but we'll step you through a little bit of kind of the thought process behind it and really some things that we've been doing.
Yeah, Rashmi and Smita always talk about, working A-list to A-list, but what we find is that there's always individuals that people are close with that they are intimidated to reach out to. And then I also think too, that if you're, teaching framework out of the gates, and teaching framework is really important, but when you're teaching it out of the gates, a lot of people can get kind of paralysis of analysis. So the design behind the Super A-list is basically you're modeling conversations or modeling framework for individuals. So they're not having to figure out how to have conversations on their own. They get some repetition in by hearing you sort of do the work for them out of the gates. That also increases the success of individuals that they're closer with. Because like Brandon mentioned, those are people that you often have or people in the team often have really close relationships with. But normally really mess up the conversations because they're making them super convoluted, and you know, whether it's a close family or friend or whatever, they have no idea what the heck you're talking about, right? So this eliminates a lot of the confusion as well. So how do we help individuals do this? The first piece is just having them create a list, and we actually have them create 2 lists. One is a list for individuals that they want to approach from a mentorship standpoint, and the second list is a super A list of customers. And we understand that when people go into these lists, they have like 0 idea what they're doing. They have 0 idea of how to approach somebody for mentorship and 0 idea of how to develop a customer. So the next step is, once they have that list, we have time set aside to systematically go through each person on those lists in detail and set a specific strategy with them. And then basically, as we do it, we give them basic conversational verbiage, and then also a response to a typical like, well, what is it question, or what is it that they do, so that they have some basic framework where they're just not like over talking the conversation, that they're being very systematic and creating a bridge to the coach or mentor. So I'll have you go through that.
Yeah. So the idea, like Amanda said, is we can now remove the burden from them having to take somebody through the 5 levels of conversation on their own. And the idea is that we also get that opportunity now to model how that's going to occur. So essentially, after we teach them a basic kind of like 3-sentence thing to say to somebody, as well as like how to answer like a what question that somebody may ask, really the design is for that individual to set up a 3-way phone call where us as the coach or mentor can step in and guide that conversation. So initially it would just be that person just saying, hey, this is, you know, my friend, family member, whatever, so-and-so. You know, this is a person that I really want to get a chance to meet you. And they're going to just kind of basically give kind of that initial, you know, hello introduction. And then us as the mentor or coach are going to step in, and we're going to be the ones that are going to go through the 5 levels of conversation. So we're going to have an initial, you know, hey, tell me about yourself. And then we're going to start to share our story, go through things. And then we will be the ones that will assist in booking that meet and greet and taking people through the process. So the idea is how do we hack people going platinum faster? And the idea is that, okay, if I want to hack people going platinum faster, I have to systematically help them engage in building networks quickly, but also help them engage in growing that volume blueprint, particularly with everything that's happening with the transitions, at least in North America, that Amway is making. So this is something that we've been observing in our organization, has been getting a lot of traction, because we can now engage in both of those a lot quicker, and we can have more control over that. And then we can model for individuals how to have those proper conversations, so that when they get to actually going through the 5 levels themselves, they've already heard it 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. Yeah. So it's a lot easier to help them transition into that. So there's a lot more we could talk about on this, but we don't have a whole lot of time, but hopefully that helped a little bit, and definitely encourage you to figure out how you can help people in this way in some way, shape, or form, because it is very, very valuable if you can help them gain traction. So thank you so much, Rashmi and Smita, for allowing us to share. We hope we added some value, and we'll turn it back over to the host. Oh,
Awesome.
wait, my
Great.
bad. Oh, you got it? Okay, cool.
We got it. Yep. Thank you. And with that, it's over to our next speakers, founders Emerald, Kyle, and Lauren Bill.
What's up, Jyoti Prakash team? Pleasure to be speaking with all of you this evening. Some good thought process already. Here's the reality, right? This is a leadership call, and leadership isn't an office hours thing. It's an around the clock opportunity to evolve, to grow, to change, and we don't just like have a 9 to 5 hours. I think we're all aware of that at the leadership level. And I think one of the things that we've been most excited to reflect on and grow is like, how can we be profitable in our business, right? You got a business because you do want to make money at some point, sustainable income. So I want to kick it over to Kyle to share a little bit more in depth around some of that mindset.
Yeah, it's always great when you get to speak about a topic that your upline double diamond kind of hit on at the beginning of a call. So this is going to be really fun to hit on width and profitability and all that jazz. But I do want to speak a little bit numbers to all of you, so you have something to really sink your teeth in. And I know this is a global call, so this won't apply to everybody. But 7,500 down 3 legs is going to yield you about $1,700 a month in profit. When you take that and you add another 3 legs and go to 6 legs, that's going to up your monthly profitability to 3,000. And when you do it down 9, it's going to go up to 3,700. So it's just like really blatantly obvious, the more width you put in, the more profitability that's going to be there. But what you need to understand though, is that it's not just about width. If you have 20 legs, that's only one person, there's no stability and there's no volume that you're actually getting those differentials out of, right? I don't care if you're getting 20% off of a leg. If that leg is only doing $300 in revenue, that's not that much money, right? So you need to learn how to actually build those teams as well. So I also calculated a couple examples here just so you guys can understand this. Let's say you have 3 legs, okay, each at 2,500. So you've got 7,500 PV there. If you have 9 legs at 100 PV outside of that, you're making 2,300. If you had 9 legs at 300 PV, you're making 3,800. And 9 legs at 600 PV, you're making 5,700. Literally over double of the first example. Just taking those 9 legs and going from 100 to 600. Okay, so it is about width. We all talk about going wide, but we go wide to find places that we can go deep. We want to find performers. Okay, and the reason I feel like a lot of us don't have the width, I think for the most part, probably 99% of the people on this call wish they had more width. Why don't you have more width? Because putting in width is like the worst work that we do. Like nobody likes it. Like getting on a conference call and building depth and growing leaders, that's freaking awesome. Getting on a game plan with your platinums or your like downline 4,000 PV, who doesn't love those conversations? But getting on Zoom for the 19th time this week to talk to somebody who may or may not make it to the next step of the process is redundant and not fun all the time. And like, sometimes you leave those appointments thinking, holy crap, I just wasted my time. Like, well, what am I doing, right? But you need to understand that you need to fight through that and get to the point where your width really creates momentum, okay? And understand, everybody on this call, it's gonna get multitudes more intense, more stressful, more difficult as you're putting in width. Because you're working with new individuals and you can't disregard all those partnerships you had pre-existing. You need to manage both of those. But the whole idea, and you heard a lot of speakers talk about this thus far, okay, is that we're developing leaders, we're developing self-sustainable business owners that can eventually take the baton and run with it. And by creating that, it does take a lot of time and effort on the front end. But understand that when you put in that time, as you put in width, and you work with those people individually on a day-by-day basis, it eventually gets to that point where they can move on with and without your efforts, which is what we're all after. So we're pumped up. We're bringing 25 Eagles to FED this year, and we're really excited to plug into the Klickner vision of 1,000 people at FED 2021. We are going to have 700 people there, and we'll kick it back to our hosts to bring up the next lineup of diamonds now.
Wow, awesome. Guys, that was a lot of information already shared. Okay. But like I said, take a lot of notes. This is it's gonna get it's gonna get hotter here. Okay. But coming up next, we've got diamonds and above. Okay, to kick it off, we got first diamonds, Jwalant and Asha Vakil from Atlanta, Georgia. Here you go, Jwalant and Asha.
Thank you, Vinod and Abida. Thank you. Hey guys, we are Jwalant and Asha from Atlanta, Georgia. And we just want to take a quick moment and thank Rashmi and Smita for pulling this whole thing together. Rashmi and Smita have asked us to talk a little bit about work ethic. And when Jwalant and I think about work ethic, right, we haven't had to look beyond Rashmi and Smita because everything that this couple has done is them being an epitome of what we have had to follow. So we'll just quickly touch upon a few things. Congratulations to all of you that are on the call. Guys, at this level, right, we're all at a leadership level, and I want all of us to understand that your income in this business is going to be directly proportional to the work that you put into the business, right? And work ethic at this level is not how many appointments you are able to do, right? I remember being new in the business and, hey, I did 20 process appointments, I did 40 process appointments, I get a pat on the back and I get excited about that recognition. But at a leadership level, it's not just about how many process appointments you're doing or how much work you are doing. It's also you taking responsibility in creating results, right? If you're a new IBO, just being busy is good enough. But being a seasoned IBO, somebody that is at a leadership level, you have to take responsibility to create growth. And the way you take responsibility to create growth is first you fix your structure, right? What Kyle and we're talking about. You have to fix your structure. You have that width so that you are able to model a good structure for your people and your team to be able to follow. Also taking responsibility for creating a lot of success in depth. And one of the things that I've caught myself many, many times in just building the business is understanding the difference between driving and building the business versus just coasting in the business, right? I want you to think about, what Ganesh was just talking about when he got on the call earlier on. One thing he said that, just stuck in my head. He said hands-on leadership versus hands-off leadership. And I know sometimes we get so caught up or so busy when we have a few people in our team to work with and we get ourselves busy. People are calling us, hey, I need help with an MG1 or I need help with an MG2 or a follow-up, and we are there. But what we don't realize is that is staying busy, that is helping people in your organization, but that is not necessarily driving the business. Driving the business comes in, or your work ethic comes in, where you are actually able to zone into particular, different pockets in multiple of your organizations once you have created that width, and then zoning in and figuring out what are you doing to be able to create that next 300 PV, that next 600 PV, that next 1500 PV bracket that you're breaking in that organization. And I think it requires a different kind of mindset, both if you're building it as a couple, both husband and wife being on the same page, zoning into the org chart and putting in that work, and then taking responsibility to not just take it 300 or 600, but staying in that organization till you pop 1500s and you have 5 packets of 1500 and you break that leg. And I think it requires a special amount of focus that is required instead of just, I had 40 appointments or 50 appointments and things like that. Now, if you're not at a point where you're putting 40, 50 appointments, we definitely encourage you to get to a point where you're doing that. Many a times we've been asked the question, how much work do I put in? What do I need to do? And I know Jwant always tells me, I used to say, I'm going to do the best I can. Well, what if your best is not good enough? What if your best is not good enough? Rashmi and Smita, I remember just looking back into our journey and watching them grow the business. It was never about doing their best. It was always doing whatever it took and a little bit more. And that's why they have the organization. Just looking at this call and having people, having emeralds, pretty much around the globe is such a light, such a fire under Jwant and my rares, because we want to kind of accomplish the same thing, but we have seen them do everything that was needed and a little bit more. They didn't get defocused. They didn't get life. Life happens to them also, I'm sure. Even though you and I might not necessarily know, but they've never allowed for those things to slow them down. And they've built it, right? Also, as you are taking responsibility of breaking those pockets in depth, understanding that you're going to have a multi-pronged approach, right? It cannot just be about structure. You have to focus on structure and volume because they go hand in hand. And something with COVID times, I know a lot of us have figured out a lot of different things, but just being creative, whether it be an Instagram live or a Facebook live video, or pulling people together or sending samples out, whatever it is that you have to do to stay on top of all aspects of your business, where you can be a cool CEO and get on a Zoom call with a couple hundred people. Also, you can be that person that can get, roll up their sleeves and get their hands dirty and go to work for that one-on-one that you need to do. Not having open spaces on my calendar is something that, I figured out works for me just to keep my work ethic in line. Because what we've realized is if you have a lot of time available to you, you will fill it, but you will not fill it with things that are going to be productive. So we just, we make sure that every hour or every half an hour slot in our day is pretty much scheduled. And that doesn't mean that we don't spend time with our family or don't do things with our kids, but we're just on top of every single little thing that we are supposed to do in our business as well. And last thing I'll say is this, when you are in the zone, when you're in the hunt, when you're zoning in into those pockets and creating that success and taking responsibility, you'll start to realize that your communication with your upline also improves. because then you're no longer just calling your upline and going like, hey, I'm busy, I'm out there, I'm doing things. Then you are able to actually have conversations that are going to help your upline be able to tweak those little things that you need to tweak so that you go from not just being somebody that is a 300, 600, or 1500 PV group, but that is somebody that's going Ruby and Emerald and Diamond. So hopefully you take some points out of that, and I will give you my better half for a couple of minutes.
All right, awesome. What she said is so true. If you look at the participants on the Zoom call, or even people who are on the Facebook Live listening in, most of you probably have a dream to have just this many people. And if you notice, what Rashmi and Smita have created is these many leaders. Okay, they've figured out exactly how to create a factory that is churning out leaders. All right. Now, this did not happen because they pulled out a raffle ticket. Okay, they rolled up their sleeves and got to work. A part of work ethic requires that vision. Okay, the vision of where you are headed and what do you really want in life. Okay, but once you do that, that decision of just making it happen on a day-to-day basis is very important. That maturity has to kick in. Okay, just because you made a decision doesn't mean you're going to reach it. Okay, just because you said I'm ready to work, it's not just going to happen. There will be hurdles. Okay, and part of that leadership is where you stay on course in spite of the hurdles that come at your way, in your way. Okay, you figure out a way around it. Okay, a lot of people you'll see, when they step out of the house, oh, it's raining, forget it, you know what, let's go back in. Well, no, as a leader, it doesn't matter if it's raining or not, you get to work, you do this stuff, at least not in the COVID times, but I hope you get the analogy that I was trying to draw over here. Okay, you have to have that stability in your mindset that, yes, getting busy at work. In spite of that, can you figure out another schedule where you can still be productive? Okay, you're doing stuff for your family. Well, because family needs that attention, you are still being productive. Okay, we are just so jacked up, you know, the last couple of months, the last few months, when COVID started and everybody was forced to be in, we just got excited and we put ourselves on fire. Every last 3-4 months, I would say I've woken up at least 99.99% of the time. I've woken up around 6 o'clock and she's gone to bed at 2. Okay, she's a night owl and I'm the early morning, the bird that goes for the worm, all right, if you want to call it that. But we've been just round the clock, churning out things, doing stuff. Now, not necessarily doing the process appointments, okay, don't get me wrong. Process appointments are the crux. That's the most foundation over here. But you got to realize that your work will change as you grow in the business, okay? Initially, you will do the work. Then you are going to teach others how to do the work, all right? All the role play that you're doing, the people you're bringing on, how are you molding them? The phone time. A lot of the things that have happened in the last few months is her putting in that phone time, us talking to people. That's the work ethic that goes behind the scenes for the leaders. Okay, that's the change you have to keep in mind. All right, and staying emotionally steady doesn't matter what's happening. You know, I'm so proud of her. A month ago or so, her mother's brother passed away in India, and she was close to him. She grew up with him, and so it was emotionally turbulent times for her. It happened on the day of the team eval. In the morning, they found out about it. Afternoon, they were on the virtual funeral, and the evening she was at the team eval. And after that, she got on a call for follow-up, and then she went back into her mourning. Okay, and then she mourned the whole of Thursday, but in the evening she was back on just to talk to the people. She's able to compartmentalize. That's where leadership kicks in. Okay, not allowing the business, your dream, to suffer because of what's happening. All right. Now, of course, where things are, your attention is needed, you do pay attention, but don't let your business suffer. Don't let your dream suffer. Okay, and don't stay in the past. Okay, the past is the past. All right, and there's a great saying over here, and I'll end it with that: is never be a prisoner of the past. It was just a lesson, okay, but not a life sentence. All right, the future is going to be awesome. The best is yet to come, and we're just so proud of the leaders that are stepping up. The last couple of months, the groups that were struggling to had a big delta X to qualify at the end of the month. now they're qualifying in the middle of the month. The growth is in the air, 200% growth, not just in US, but in India as well. We're just pumped up. We are getting the job done. Rashmi and Smita, count on us. This is the vision for us. The number of leaders you have, that's what we're going to get no matter what in the next 2 to 5 years. You can count on us. We'll make you proud. And with that, I'd like to invite up my great crossline buddies all the way up in Wisconsin, Craig and Kerry.
Hello there, Jyoti Prakash organization. It is super heartwarming to see all your faces. It's been a while, but it feels so nice and just awesome to have Ganesh kick off this call. That was pretty epic. So thank you, Rashmi and Smita. And there's been a lot of talk about the new fiscal year, and I know people are strategizing, and we want to hit on how to make effective strategy to really take your game to the next level. And in terms of strategy, I think that's oftentimes the fun, flowery part of business. People have their color-coded game plans and the colored pencils and the protractors, but learn how to make the work ethics just as much fun as the planning, so you can actually give your goals a fighting chance to get hit. And so Asha and Dwalant talk so nicely about the work ethics. I'll hit on that, but first off, you gotta buy into your goals and get so much more invested than you ever have. And I thought about when we made the push for Emerald, Founders Emerald, Diamond, there was definitely another level of definitiveness of purpose in those pursuits and a different level of energy and belief. So you gotta dig deep and find that if you are really looking to make your move and make some power plays. In terms of work ethics, you have to start hacking away at the work. A lot of times people make these beautiful strategies and game plans, but then they give themselves this immensely long warm-up time, this long lead-in time before they actually start kicking butt and hacking away at the work ethics. In regards to skill sets, it's got to be next level learning. If Craig and I think about our skill sets July of 2020, they look very different than July of 2019. And our skill sets were pretty awesome last July too. But there's this really pointed direction in terms of no longer thinking minimums mindset and really actively being in the pursuit, no matter what level of business that you're at, to create stronger skill sets and have that tenacity around it. Also, have a stronger gap analysis within your strategy. How are you doing with your actual process appointments? How's post-launch going? How is actually identifying performers in your organization? Because that's a huge part of your goal setting for the next 12, 24 months, is identifying that leadership and then truly amplifying the heck out of leaders and incoming leaders. And if anyone's ever played sports, a huge, huge, huge part of athletics and good athletes is this skill called anticipation. And if you can get stronger at anticipating leadership within your group, actually identifying it before it's truly happening, it'll help you get way further ahead in terms of where to actually invest your time and energy and efforts. And when you're putting in a ton of width, you better get really good at being a good talent scout and learning how to be the bridge to those people, to your coaches, and to the system. So it might not be your longest standing organization that's going to be your biggest group in 12, 24 months. And that's a real mindset shift that a lot of you might need to make. It might be the 12th leg that you add that might actually be your biggest group a year to 2 years out from now. So you can't keep thinking so pin-centric about everything. It's not really the lay of the land anymore. It's really actually looking for people who are receptive, learning, willing to put themselves out there, willing to learn and grow, and really amplifying the heck out of those individuals through your investment and partnership into them. Also getting really deep within your organization in terms of strategy, not being in hover mode, the hands-off mode Ganesh talked about. It is not cool to be the helicopter leader. Get deep into the organization and really start to strategize within the team and helping people buy into those goals 12, 24 months before you actually see it happening for them. And really creating that rallying point and that vision. And Kyle talked about some metrics with profit sharing. How about even with your new partners, strategizing how they can make $500 a month, month to month? that's a pretty important rallying cry. They might not see a Q12 ship, but can they get rallied around making $500 a month? I think so. So making sure that you're actually putting in that tangible goal setting deep within the organization and not relying on other quote unquote leaders to be doing that for you. And also developing the critical thinking muscle, but not over engineering your strategy or game plan. Again, if you have a protractor and a spreadsheet, I'm really proud of you, but I don't want that to negate the hard work that needs to go in by over analytic and overthinking the process. Get out there, do the work. One of my favorite parts of the pandemic, obviously there's a lot of tragedy, but one of the best parts about being in the midst of a shakeup is that you truly figure out what your values are. And if you already knew, that's awesome. Hopefully it amplifies your vision around those deeper values and principles. But the quote, strong reasons create strong action. It has never rung more true within our house, and we're definitely bringing 1,000 plus to FED 2021. And I'm excited to slide it on over for Craig to wrap up here. Here he is.
Hey folks, how y'all doing? Good to see you guys. Did we freeze?
I think they actually, now they got the right video there.
Okay, cool. I was dialed in the basement downstairs, but I couldn't get unmuted. So thanks for running the show, Carrie, as usual. Hey folks, super, privileged to be a part of the Jyoti Prakash team, and hope you all feel that way and understand that in times of challenge and in times of, a pandemic, more specifically, that we have leaders that we can really look to and count on, and that we know are going to continue to be, beacons of consistency and light and able to be there for us. And thank you, Rashmi and Smitha, for putting this call together and, always thinking about like that next level of mindset and leadership. So, everybody spoke so well, and I don't want to take any time. In fact, two things that I want to talk about. Number one is just making sure that you're thinking in terms of incremental goals, because I think sometimes in the past, our industry or our business is a little guilty of being like, you're either going Q12 or like you suck, right? Or you're an eagle or you're nothing. And like profit doesn't work that way. Does anybody ever notice that? Like profit just wants to grow. Like, does it really matter if I make 81 grand or 78 grand? It's like, if I'm at 50, let's just go to 78. And so I would challenge everyone to think incremental growth in terms of structure and volume on a month over month and especially quarter over quarter basis. And it might not seem like maybe growing your PV by 2 or 300 or 100 or 400 PV feels like a lot, but when you compound that over the course of a year, who wouldn't be excited to add 400 PV and then multiply that by 12 and have a pretty nice side volume, pretty ditto based a year from now? Now, you might not set any world records for speed, but I guarantee you're going to go diamond at some point if you keep that moving. Obviously, if it's synergized with the structure and getting out and doing the dirty work that Kyle talked about. So think incremental growth month over month, and don't let that be, I would say, it's kind of an interesting way to say it, but I would be more humble in your goals incrementally, instead of like overly ambitious and then upset when you don't hit it. Because people would always say, well, what's your vision? When are you going crown? When are you going like double? Like, I didn't think diamond when I launched. I didn't think diamond when I went silver. I thought diamond when we went emerald. Like literally, I did not think I could go diamond. Maybe Carrie did, but I didn't think we could go diamond until we went emerald. And then it was like, I'm like not at the mountaintop, and we still aren't, but I can see that mountaintop from this mountaintop. And so I would just encourage everybody to get a little gritty and figure out how to grow incrementally, and then see what that translates to forward a year from now, 6 months from now, and then sync that up with the coach. Second thing I want to talk about is learning and just like what that really means. And I think that when a lot of people say, I'm working on something or I'm getting better at that, that really means you're not doing jack about it. It means once in a while you think about it and you're like, I should do that. And so you say to yourself and to others, like, I'm working on that. but you're not doing squat, let's be honest, right? And so I've had some pretty intense conversations with people lately in our group and positive results, but sometimes just a little more intense, because it's like, you've been telling me you've been working on that for 3 years, and I love you, I believe in you, like we're here to support you, but I don't see any change in like how you're communicating, or I don't see any change in like the results, or I don't see any change in like, you know, your work ethic, or how you're managing your calendar, or your job situation. And so I just would encourage everyone to step up a little bit. And so one of the step ups, where are we at on time, honey? 1 minute. Okay. One of the step ups that I have for myself, instead of just saying things, is that on my leadership calls with my upline, I'm going to finish on time. And this is my chance to do that. And so we will have 1,000 plus at FED 2021. Guarantee it. We're absolutely in the hunt right now, having a blast, talk about all the growth, but you'll feel it or hear about it, as I'm sure we'll hear about yours. So with that, let me bounce pass over to one of the coolest, most amazing couples on planet Earth, JP and Ritu Kapoor. You know, just a couple that you just couldn't ask for better supporters, cheerleaders, and coaches, and mentors, and rich parents in your life. So JP and Ritu, over to you.
All right. Well, thank you, Craig and Kerry. That was absolutely impactful as always. And what a fantastic talk by Joel and Tanasha. And of course, all the leaders on the Jyoti Prakash team. In fact, you might be thinking that you need this leadership. In fact, let me share a secret with you. In fact, we need this more than anybody else today. In fact, thank you, Rashmi and Smita, for putting this together and giving us an opportunity to talk to the global team. Last 2 years have been very harsh on us, you know, brutal, heartbreaking. In fact, last year around this time, I lost my mother, and last month I lost my younger brother at the age of 46. He passed away. So it's not been a happy situation for us in the last 2 years. But you know, some things that are not in our control, but when things are in your control, that's when we hammer this business hard. And God is a witness, when we were going through all these trials and tribulations, never we had to worry about money. We didn't have to worry about our bills. All the bills were taken care of. Money was in the bank. Okay, we could do things where others couldn't do. And we didn't have to take permission from anybody to take time off. In fact, last year, over 2 months, I was busy with you know, a family situation. And now it's been 3 weeks. We were in Austin, Texas with my brother's family. I don't even know how much time is going to go into sort family matters. But you know what, guys, every day we thank God for this business. We thank God for you know, Rashmi and Smita and Ganesh and Rekha and all our uplines and the business and the mentorship. Because of them today, we breathe easy, because yes, there's some things we cannot control, but there's some things that we were able to control because we built this business. And when we talk about, you know, bucket versus asset business, a pipeline income, okay, I feel that there is no other opportunity, you know, better than what we have in our hands, you know. So I have a few things to cover, you know, how we deal with challenges and how we overcome challenges, and despite that, stay focused on the business. So I have a few pointers to talk about. Before that, here it is to my EDC bride, Ritu Kapoor.
Hello, Jyoti Prakash team. This is Ritu coming at you. First of all, I want to thank Rashmi and Smita for putting this call together and you know, making us a part of it. And of course, Ganesh and Rekha starting the call was fantastic. You know, this business has a lot of intangible benefits that you can get that money cannot buy. And you do not realize that till you are hit with a situation. And thank God we built this business when the parameters are not right for us. When a lot of things were not in our favor, you know, that's when we built the business. And today, because we did that in the past, I was able to be with JP at all the steps in the last 2 years, you know. Whenever he needed me, I was able to be there with him. You know, when his mom passed away, when his brother passed away, we were there as a family, you know. In fact, his brother And his sisters, when they came for, when his mom passed away, they came by themselves because their spouses had to work. And same thing when his brother passed away, but I was able to be there with JP. Because what we've realized in this business, when we work together as partners, we are partners in life and partners in situation. So sometimes your spouse needs you when you might think that they're strong and they don't need you. But just you being there kind of makes a lot of difference in their life. And last 2 years has not been easy for JP. And yes, he's a very strong guy. He's gone through a lot of situations and he's handled it beautifully. But sometimes a strong person can also break down, and that's when the person who's closest to them needs to be there around them. And I'll just like to share one story before I give it back to JP. A lot of time when situations hit you, do you respond or do you react? I know that's an interesting question. A simple story, there were these folks, they were in a restaurant having a nice time. I know in this COVID situation is different, but they were having a good time. They were having lunch, all friends, they had met up for lunch. And one of the friends, a cockroach comes to, climbs on her shirt and she's panicking, and she is waving her hand. She doesn't know what to do. She's in a panic mode. And somehow the cockroach flies to another friend. And now that friend is panicking because she saw how her friend reacted, and now she's reacting the same way. And then the waiter comes to help them, and somehow the cockroach comes on the waiter. And what he does is he's calm, he follows where the cockroach is going, and then he quickly flicks it off and outside the restaurant. So the friends were reacting to the situation, but the waiter was responding to the situation. Same situation, but how you handle with it. And Ganesh talked about it today, hands on or hands off. So if you're reacting to a situation, you have your hands off. But if you're responding to the situation, you have your hands on and you're figuring out what can you do patiently, calmly, and figuring out how you can get out of it and how you can make the best of that situation and how you can move forward. So with that, I'm going to pass it on to JP to talk about the rest, but here it is, JP.
Great, guys. I have few minutes. In fact, we are the people who are between the entire team and our appliance, Rashmi and Smita, so I'll make it quick, okay? Early on in the business, we heard this quote, bigger the rose, harder the thorns. Okay, if you want to have big roses, guys, you will have to deal with big thorns. So if you're going through situations, if you're going through challenges, it could be health challenges, it could be money challenges, it could be family challenges, okay? The bigger they are, the bigger the rose you're going to get. Okay, the bigger the compensation in any salary, the harder will be the interview. So guys, we looked at challenges, and as I said, yes, we are heartbroken, and some things, some losses are irreplaceable. Okay, but we know that this is our profession. We know that this is what has given us the options and the choices. So we know that challenges will come no matter what. Tomorrow also, again, right now, COVID situation, there's so many challenges, but there are a lot of companies who are actually getting affected negatively by the situation, but then a lot of companies flourishing as well. Okay, so few strategies that we use on daily basis, I use on daily basis. Okay, number one, I always have a happy folder. Yes, there could be some turbulence going on in my mind, and your mind is going in 100 miles per hour in different directions, sometimes negative, sometimes positive. But you know what? I remind myself, challenges are like houseflies. They will come and they will go. Okay, but I have to keep moving on. So I have something called a happy folder. In my last 20, 30 years, yes, we've had challenges in life, but God has been nice to us. So we have captured those pictures in that happy folder, places we visited, our uplines, our downlines, our family, all the blessings in life, the country we live in, the house, the education we've got. All these pictures, almost close to 100 pictures I have in the happy folder. We went to Deer Island, Hawaii, okay? And I thank God every day, 100 times in the morning. Attitude of gratitude, Paul Miller talks about it. When I thank God 100 times, I know these challenges are temporary. My mind becomes clutter-free. I can see my future well. And with that in mind, my focus is how can I win the day? I don't worry about winning the week. I don't worry about winning the month, winning the year. I know if I win the day, I will win the week, I'll win the month, I will win the year, and my goals and dreams will come true. So first thing I do is, I draw my org chart. I look at it, man, where can I, grow my business? Where can I build my teams? Where can I build my communities? Okay, right now, guys, honestly, there are no boundaries, as Patricia was rightly saying. There are no boundaries. Before this, we would not talk to people in Des Moines, Iowa. Why? There is no system there. We would not talk to people in Toledo, Ohio. Why? There's no system there. But now, guys, it's boundaryless. We can talk to anybody. So if we snooze, we lose. So right now, yes, different industries are collapsing, companies are collapsing. But you know what? This is hammer time for us. So I make a list of things I need to do to grow my business. If it's we have to put in new legs, we will focus on that. I take eyes off of me, put it on people. Like right now in a new leg, we're helping 2 guys go 300 PV. It's been just a week. I came back from Austin from my brother's funeral. But you know what? We're back in the zone. Why? It's not their fault that we are going through our situation, our losses. They trusted us, joined the business. So we are left with no choice but to take eyes off of us, put it on them, because we know that they need to grow in this business, and that's the only way we will grow in the business. Okay, focusing on building communities. Second, focusing on building volume. Who is the person who fell off the process? How can we reach out to them? How can we ask them questions? Hey, what are your goals for having the right immunity? What are your goals, your health goals for this month? What are your health goals for next year? What are your skincare goals? Getting into right conversations with them so we can steer the conversation towards our products. And then, of course, building ourselves, making sure we're plugged into the events, we're listening to our talks, immersed in the system. And I know situations will come, situations will go, but I always remind myself, harder the thorns, bigger will be the rose. So guys, let's come up with strategies. Let's make every day count. Let's win every day. And let's make it happen, guys. Why? Because we owe it to our upliners. We owe it to Rashmi and Smita. Why? Because they have invested in us so much. They have loved upon us. They have always been by our side through thick and thin. Okay. So let's make it happen. 2021 is going to be a banner year for all of us, as long as we make it happen as a team, guys. Stay united. So we love you guys. And it's absolutely an honor and privilege to be inviting the leader of the leaders. And we don't have to look anywhere else, because of this couple. They have literally conquered every aspect of life to the highest standard. So we don't have to look anywhere else. They are the standard that we follow. And here it is to our amazing uplines, Rashmi and Smita from Atlanta, Georgia.
Thank you, JP and Ritu. Appreciate that. Guys, what a phenomenal call. Hope you guys have been taking notes. I really want to appreciate all the diamonds. Phenomenal job, JP and Ritu. I know in putting the agenda, I wasn't sure whether you'll be up to mark to, especially with what you're going through. Appreciate you still being on the call and adding so much value. Truly appreciate that. And Craig and Kerry, fantastic job, guys. Always cutting edge, always spot on. Is just amazing. Jonathan Asa, great job, absolutely great job. And all the founder members, I wish we can have Leo and Julie say hello. I know they're having issues, not able to unmute and connecting all the way from Vietnam. They have a massive organization as founder members there. And of course, Andy and Patricia, being emerald in 2 countries, it's unbelievable that, here and there, both markets are emeralds. That's amazing. And of course, Devang and Tejal, great job. Super, super awesome. I know each one of you, we gave you topics with probably 20, 30-minute talks. You guys pulled it off in 5 minutes and so. And of course, Brandon and Amanda, great, absolutely great job. Again, on spot on. I know when we do a call like this, it's kind of sometimes hard to plan it because there's so much to be covered and so much you can address and so much you got to kind of live with, kind of a thing, Kyle and Lauren, fantastic job, man. I want to thank all the emeralds. I wish we can have each and every one of you talk. It's so great to have all the global leaders on the call. I'm going to have Smita kick it off. We have kind of a little bit broken down. By the way, guys, the whole agenda behind this call is we're about 5 weeks away from the new fiscal year. So we kind of, some of the mindset and the talks, hope you're understanding it, kind of a little bit of the strategy change, a little bit of the thinking and giving you direction towards the new year. And that's the whole purpose behind doing this, to aligning global markets to this. Okay, so anyway, I'm going to have Smita share it, and we'll get going.
All right. Hey, everyone. Definitely we're so appreciative for Ganesh and Rekha, and what Ganesh had shared today was amazing. So much of, every time we listen to our uplines, we just feel that, it's just amazing. It gets us to think, gets our head geared in the right direction. And we know that a lot of it is reaffirmation of what we have heard in the past, but there is always that punch that we get, and that motivation to move on. And I hope all of you feel that, because that's how we feel with our uplines. And we are very, very blessed. Ganesh is very actively engaged in the bike ride that's coming up, but he still stayed up late for this, because he was telling Rashmi that he had to get up very early, and all of that stuff. So but we're very appreciative of that. And and thanks to all the leaders here, all the diamonds, and Rashmi just mentioned, but seriously, I mean, JP and Ritu, you guys are strong, and such strong pillars, and we're so blessed to have you guys in our life. And of course, Craig and Kerry, amazing content as always. And Jwalant and Asha, so much going on, so much growth going on in your business. So excited for all of you guys, and all the founders emeralds. I don't want to take names, but you guys shared, and we're so blessed. Honestly, all of you, from dialing in from so many different parts, so many different time zones. UK, I know, is I don't know, early 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, but you guys are just so accommodating. When Rashmi sent out that message for the global conference call, there was not one person who was not agreeing. Everybody was, they were all accommodating. They're all so we're so blessed to have this united team, and so thankful for that. And the vision is to grow, our mindset is to grow. And just wanted to share a few things. Okay, is what are some of the things that we do, okay, especially building it together here. What are some of the things? Okay, leadership is a mindset thing, we all know that. Okay, and we are all creator of our own reality. And recently I was just reading this book where I just read this. It said, I always wonder why birds stay in the same place when they can actually fly anywhere they want. They can fly anywhere they want. Why do they still choose to select one spot and come back there and live there? Okay. Then I ask myself the same question. Why do we resist change? Why do we, in spite of knowing that there are so many things that could happen, especially being in the business for a little bit, okay, why do we still fight that fact that, uh, yeah, that sounds right, but this is not the time for that. Yeah, my upline might be right, but I'm not ready to do that right now. That resistance, a lot of times we know the path, we see it, we know our next goal. Okay, we know that if we are, rising eagles, we need to get move on, have a fourth leg, have a fifth leg, and get eagle done. These are the next natural steps, progressive steps. But what is it that actually stops us is actually is something that we have to figure out. Okay, a lot of us have to do some self-reflection and understand and see what is it. Okay, many times it's just not having a transparent communication with upline. Many a times we feel that, hey, I have already done certain things in business, I know how to launch people in business, I know process in and out, and I don't need to check so many things with upline. Or even if they say this, probably they're right, but not in my situation. They don't know where I am. Or we always have this justification, or this understanding of convoluted understanding of that situation, and justifications are just excuses and masks. Okay, we are just refusing to accept it. But we don't like the word excuses, because we are core ideals. We do not like to say that I have excuse. Anybody in the world could have it, but nah, not me. We don't feel cool about that. But then somehow we feel that we are an exception. And so whatever that is holding you back, if it is maybe talking to your upline, if you do not agree, it is always better to have a clear discussion and understand their perspective. Because I understand one thing, that there is no lack of hardworking IBOs within Amway. Okay, but a lot of people are hitting this business with a blunt axe. You need to sharpen that. You need to have that communication along with reading, along with all of that other steps that we do. That communication is probably one of the things that is also very critical. And sorting that out, understanding and understanding your upline's mindset. We cannot possibly come in our own way of communicating with upline. Okay, so if you don't know, don't understand, it's always okay to ask questions. We ask a ton of questions to our upline. I was just talking to Sangeeta a couple 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, about certain things, certain changes that is happening, and I couldn't understand. We had a conversation, and it is okay. All right, sometimes I talk to Rekha. So it is just many things that we talk about, talk to people, talk to our uplines. If we do not get to wrap our head around that, and it is okay to ask questions, but to live on that thing and not to get it sorted out is actually slowing our business. Okay, and so I see that, even Rashmi and Ganesh having that communication all the time, they are in sync. But that doesn't, if understanding that upline husband and downline husband have to be in sync along with the wives. Okay, so that sync also has to happen, because that is when you understand that you are not leaving any leaves unturned. You are not leaving any piece of the puzzle on the plate where you could have actually fixed it. So working on these things, working on your communication, and being that strong partner where you understand that you want to, whatever possible in your power you can change, you are willing to do that. Okay, so doing that, and understanding that things will pan out in the long run. Okay, so next thing is when you're building the business. Okay, business, you have to build the business with end in mind. Okay, when I say that, what I mean by that is, business is very dynamic. People who are hardcore performers now might slow down because of whatever situation. We have slowed down many times because of certain things, and then we picked up from wherever we left. So all of us go through those motions. Okay, and business is dynamic. Okay, and sometimes you lose some leaders. You work hard, you lose leaders, they stop responding to you, especially times like this. It's amazing how it is, when you don't see people. We all know out of sight is out of mind, but it is so shocking to see the reality of out of sight is actually out of mind. Okay, and it is weird, but so we work on that consciously. We do everything in our power, but sometimes we see that we lose people, we lose teams, and it is okay. And but the question is not to get hung up on that or have a bad attitude next time you start building a team. A lot of people start getting worried that what if this next team that I'm building goes through the same things that happened in the last. Okay, and we might not verbalize it because we have been taught to speak right, but we are playing that pattern in our head, and that fear is overruling everything else that we are doing. We are doing the right things, but the geared by fear, not with the anticipation of growth. I hope you understand. So when you're working the business, your mind should not be expecting, okay, what if they don't stay, what if they don't stay. So build the business with the expectation of growth. Okay, name any big organization, any company. Okay, they invest so much money in grooming leaders, in training people, in teaching them technical skills, whatever skills that is required. Okay, we know so many companies who do that. Do all the employees continue to work with that company? Not really. But so what? I think Rashmi was telling this somewhere that in Microsoft they said that, okay, what if we spend so much money, and why do you spend so much money on training the people and they leave you? And whoever was asked the question, he said that what if we don't train and they stay? What do we do with these people when we don't train them and they stay? So it's not a question about getting fearful of who leaves you. Question is, whoever is staying with you, do they even have the ability to grow and build the business to the next level? Okay, so understanding, having an understanding that it happens in every industry and it happens in our industry too. But as long as we know where we are building, what we are doing it for, and we understand the long termness of the business, you will see that your business will grow. Okay, so not building that business from a fear of loss or things like that. Okay, and always have that edge. And you feel that power, you feel that confidence when you are the one who's creating results. When I'm the one who is responsible for growth, when I'm the one who's driving growth, I'm not talking about things I did 1 year ago, changes I made 6 months ago. My examples are more current. my activity is very is focused on what we did as in way, in COVID times, in times like right now. Okay, what are some of the things we are doing? If we have relevant information, then guess what? People will not just respect you, but they will actually follow you and follow your lead. Okay, so don't give examples of the past. Nobody likes them. They might honor you, but they will not follow you. Okay, so understand that if you want to be a leader where people emulate your work ethics and your speech pattern, and they want to be a duplication of you, then you know what, our things have to be more current. Okay, the things that we are doing. And a lot of us, especially now since we are home, okay, are getting a little too comfortable many times, because you don't have to step out, you don't have to dress up and go somewhere. But we are leaders. Okay, we have to understand that comfortable is not something that is a good thing. Being too comfortable, okay, being comfortable is like being on a drug. Okay, the more you get it, the more you are drugged. Okay, and it's not a cool thing. So get yourself busy, get yourself productive, set some goals. We are just few weeks away from New Year. So begin with that end in mind. Understand that what is it that you want to accomplish in the next fiscal year. What are some of the goals, and work in alignment with that. Everything that you do today will actually help you with the with the year coming. So understand that. And the last thing I'll tell you, as a husband and wife, you couldn't have had more time than what you have going on right now. Okay, I hope you enjoy the time together. I hope you're not fighting too much. Okay, and even if you're fighting, that is okay. That's a part of a healthy relationship. But understand that you understand how to work together, and this is how financial freedom will be with the finances, of course. Okay, you have so much time and a lot of money along with it, so this is kind of like a practice run for that. So work together, and figure out what are some of your strengths, and don't irritate the heck out of each other, because it's so easy to do that. Especially nowadays, I talk to people and I hear about things. They're like, what, going to job was easier. I'm like, don't say what you don't want. But but people have been saying that. But I understand that it's getting an overdose of that. But honestly, this is how life actually hasn't changed a bit for us. The only thing that has changed is actually going out, which we don't get to do much. But it's a great time to be in business, and to think about your future and plan ahead. And let's make the most out of this time. We are not in healthcare. We are not out there fighting the battle, fighting the disease in the hospitals. I know so many people we know who are in the healthcare industry, and we're so thankful, so appreciative of everything that you guys do. All of you who are in healthcare industry, or all of you who know people who are in your family who are in that industry. And it takes so much to go outside and get all of that done. We are so thankful. But hey, we are all at home. What are we doing with that time? I hope you're using that time to build a business for yourself. And here's over to Rashmi. Thank you.
Yeah, like Smita said, guys, we're thankful for all the frontline workers globally, not just in North America, in all countries. You guys do so much selflessly. It's just amazing. Our contribution to COVID is stay home, and it's been already 4.5, 5 months, and I hope we hear some good news of all the research that's going on, and hopefully it'll go away soon. But the impact is not the COVID. What we're talking about is the economic impact, which is actually fueling the growth of Amway business globally right now. I hope you understand that. Okay, I have a few points written down here. I just want to kind of talk about it again, keeping in mind the audience. You guys are at least 3 partner honoring legs, silver and above. Number one thing I want to talk about is relationships. Okay, I wrote down a few pointers. I'm just going in that order. I have a paper note here, by the way. Relationships. Okay, as you build your teams, as you build your organizations. Okay, the old talk which says friendship stops, relationship stops, depth stops, business stops. Okay, Angela had an old talk. Okay, your question you have to ask yourself is, how deep does your relationships and communication go? Means you personally, you might know the 7th deep IBO or 10th deep IBO, but do you have connection, rapport, relation? Have you taken time in building that relationship? It's a conscious effort. It requires picking up the phone and talking. That relationship, again, it goes both ways. Again, your relationship with your upline, we already covered all that. I'm not repeating things that has been covered. I'm talking about that. It's taking that time and building that connection, rapport, relationship. Okay. Next thing is emotional stability. Okay, as you grow your organization, as you grow your company, Okay, the bigger the business, the less right you have to react. Are you with me? In a GP you're talking about it. You can't react. Okay, you lose the right to react actually. Okay, what does emotional stability means? And stuff is going to happen. Bill used to say this old statement is like bigger. Listen to it very, very carefully. Bigger your business, the more negative you will know. Okay, nothing is perfect, guys. Listen to me. Amway is not perfect. Bitwallet is not perfect. Nothing is perfect. Okay, the bigger your business, more negative you will know in anything. Okay, but question is, can you still keep the purity of the mission? Can you keep emotional stability? A lot of you, when I started business, I was single. Then we got married. Now we have 3 kids. Now our kids are small. A lot of IBOs, your kids are now grown up and things like that. If you don't keep the music in your house pure, you're going to lose out on the next generation coming in and building Amway. Be very careful with your conversation closed doors. Because when you don't think nobody's listening, there are little ears which are listening. Okay? Emotional stability. The bigger the business, like Bill would say, the bigger the level, bigger the devil. Okay? You're going to know more negative. You're exposed to more. Okay, before I just knew negative about my business. Now, once I joined BW executive committee, we're not in MOC yet, we're in executive committee. I know way more negative, obviously, right? Am I making sense to you? Bigger the business, the more you're exposed. Same thing in life also. As when you're single, you didn't care. Suddenly you get married, and then you have kids, and now you know stuff, man. You're like dealing. Oh, and this happens in schools. Really, this happens when you get married. Blah 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 blah. So my question is, even in life, when you progress, you're exposed to more negative, and you're still keeping the purity. Okay, very, very important. Okay, emotional stability through good times and not so good times. I was giving this example in a conference call, couple of conference calls. Listen to it very, very carefully. For you, your salary might be in a big pot, Amway might be in a small peanut. Okay, but can you see leaders and entrepreneurs operate today based on the vision for 5-10 years from today? Okay, I was giving Elon Musk example. When he sells PayPal, gets about $180 million equity out of it and goes on to start Tesla and SpaceX and literally puts all the money and starts 3 companies. If you look at that point in life and business, Tesla was a peanut, like this little pathetic peanut. Okay, whereas PayPal was huge, and Smita was telling the other day, says, if you got interview call that time between PayPal and Tesla, you won't even join Tesla. You're like, man, who the heck knows these companies? They have this wild dream of having electric cars, and these guys are crazy nuts. But what makes Musk today the 6th richest person in the world is Tesla. He made a stinking peanut factory out of the peanuts, right? So some of you right now, your Amway income might be peanut. When we were working professionally with masters and all of that, salary was huge. Amway was a peanut, right? But the vision for it, again, guys, when job things will happen, especially in COVID time. Some of you might be facing that, maybe job, this happened, that happened, whatever. Can you keep emotional stability in good times and not so good times and operate today based on 5 years from today's vision, 10 years from today's vision? Can you see that little peanut becoming a peanut factory? Think about that. Okay. Next thing is attitude. It's not what happens to you, how you react to what happens to you. How many times have you heard that? Isn't it? Right? Now we all have those days. I mean, don't take me wrong. I'm not, some days I'm sitting, I'm going cuckoo, I'm like, come on, man, you need to get out. I mean, our COVID is like upstairs to swimming pool downstairs, swimming pool to upstairs downstairs. That's pretty much where we are at. But attitude, again, when we say attitude, what it means to a new IBO versus those of you who are leaders at 3 partnering legs, silvers and above, is a very different realm. I hope you realize that. Okay, it's not a simple thing about attitude. Oh, I have a good attitude. All of you think you read books and you have 3 legs and you think, yeah, I have a great attitude. No, you don't. Some of you need a checkup. Like, how do you know attitude? How are you talking about other IBOs in your team? What are you talking about other leaders in your team? Some of you are rapping so much negative about it. Your leaders, I remember listening to an old Triple Diamond talk. This is what he said. He said, so a lot of you're spitting on your horses and you expect those horses to rise up. Not going to happen. Don't spit on your own horses. Build your own horses. Build them up. Does that make sense to you guys? Very, very important. Okay. Attitude. Not what happens to you. How do you react to what happens to you? Okay. Something happened in the group. What's your attitude? How are you looking at the leaders or that organization when something happened? What's your attitude when you're looking at it? The next thing I've written down here is leadership. Building teams and building leaders. That's eventually where all the crust of Amway lies, is building teams and building leaders. Width is your gateway. Building depth, now you're understanding how to secure organizations. Your income is write this one down. Your income is tied to structure and mass. Some markets on this call are 10,000 PV. Singapore is 12,500 PV. US market is 7,500 PV. Okay, different PV markets. Okay, honestly, but when I'm talking to any leader in any market, I don't need to know the PV. You know what I'm looking for? Structure and mass. That tells me everything. Am I making sense to you? Structure and mass. As you build your structure, what is your mass? Okay, now here, listen to very carefully. Your width will add temporary income. Am I making sense to you? Your depth will add permanent income. Let me repeat that one more time. Your width will add temporary income. Your depth will add permanent income. Am I making sense to you? You got to learn the art of building teams and building mass. Very, very important. Right? Think about it. Does Will make majority of his income because of these 22 frontline platinum legs or the 10,000 emeralds and diamonds and above he has globally? Now, the 22 opens the gateway, but the income comes out of the mass. Yes or no? Right? Think about that for a second. Okay. Create results, get hands dirty. Okay. I'm going to talk about this in the context of knowing your role. As you start building organization, legs are going to be different. Now, this is how you look at it. We all going to have big legs, guys. You're supposed to have big legs. Okay. Some of you treat your big legs as if you're cross lines. You treat them as if adopted kids or something. Okay. Now listen to me very carefully. The way you want to structure your organization is, you don't want any one leg to be more than 50% of your business. Let me repeat that one more time. You don't want any leg to be more than 50% of your business. Now, the way to do that is not by shrinking your big leg, but by increasing your side business. Am I making sense to you now? When I went 7,500 PV, my leg number one was 6,000 PV. Now, not the most ideal equation. I will never recommend it. If I were game planning with anybody, I won't even tell them to do it. But it just happened. Why? Uplines were involved in leg number one. It just grew and I went 7,500. But we fixed it. Now, the beauty of Amway, guys, you can fix it. It's the most forgiving business. You can fix it. Any business can be fixed in that matter. Forget about Amway business. Any business. You look at Microsoft, they fixed it. You look at Apple, they fixed it. Right? I mean, they all fixed it, man. Okay. Right? Am I making sense to you? But as your legs are at a different phases, you need to know your role in a leg. Am I making sense to you? For Ganesh, coming on this conference call was probably a role in executive diamond leg. Now, his new leg that he's working on, he messaged 2 weeks ago, I registered a new leg. Okay. Do you think he's just going to get on a conference call, expect that leg to grow? He's getting jabs in that leg. Some guy is asking him on the phone, is it Amway? Yes or no? Now, problem is in that leg, if he's not getting those jabs, that leg is not growing. This leg, if he's not getting on a leadership call, that's where he's seeing the growth. Am I making sense to you? Means the role in each of your organization is going to be different. Do you understand that? Do you have a clarity in that? Now, how do you get a clarity in that? Even today, I have conversations with my upline about my role in different legs and where to work and what to work. Sometimes when you're in the leg, guys, in the business, you don't have clarity. You need somebody who can have a bird's eye view, who can see it from the top and tell you, hey, listen, this needs to happen. Here's the thing, guys. The questions I asked my upline when I was going silver is not the same question I asked today, but I still ask questions. I don't wait for my upline to call me, to ask me, poke me, and then I ask, oh, I had actually 2 questions. Can I ask you now? Well, why did you wait? Why couldn't you ask me 2 days ago when you had the question? Why are you waiting for me to call you? Now, here's another thing. I know what I'm doing. I hope you know what you're doing. Absolutely. Do you think we know what we're doing? As a matter of fact, our structure right now, being honest with you, we set a goal last year in 5 years to wrap up Founders Crown Ambassador. We know the legs, 14 founder legs, FA point wise 100. We know exactly where we're working, what we are doing, where we are doing it. And it's pretty crystal clear, and we are in sync with my upline too. But am I still learning? Absolutely, yes. It'll be naive of me to think that I'll go from executive diamond to double, triple, and crown without learning. Are you with me? What should I ask my upline? Well, ask something. If you have the question, what should I ask my upline? That means you're not engaged in your business, because if you are engaged, you're bound to have questions. Am I making sense to you? Right? So understanding your role in each leg, and here's the other question number 2. Are you guys ready? Is your role changing in each leg? Are you with me? Is your role changing in each leg? Okay, now that's a topic for next 30 minutes. We can talk about it, but I just want to give you a pointer in that area. So at least you can have a conversation with your upline regarding this thing. Okay, right? So creating results, getting hands dirty, right? Smita talked about not having blunt force trauma, but having razor sharp knife which can cut through. Means what? When you're working in a place, when you bring your skill set down there, right? Is your hands dirty? Are you really physically there, or are you just, man, if you have a 70 deep leg and you tell me I'm having conversation, I'm mentoring people, what the heck? Who the heck are you mentoring? How long do you think they'll stay mentored? When you are on a 7 deep leg and you tell me I'm working, you know what I'm expecting? In next month, by August, by September, it should be 9 deep. By December, it should be 12 deep. And not only is going 12 deep, I'm also expecting some rising eagles and eagles coming up in between. So not only you're getting hands dirty in depth, you're empowering people in between to have the third leg and 6th leg put in. So that's what I'm expecting. The minute you tell me I'm working in a leg, and if I pick up the phone and I call that person, and if I didn't even know whose organization that person is, and I talk to him for 5 minutes, can I tell, man, this guy is downline to this guy? I can tell, man, the way he's talking, I can see this is his upline. If the maturity of an IBO at that point where you're working is not growing, is not changing, means the way they communicate, the way they deliver content is not changing. That means you as a leader, effectively communication has not happened in growing or developing that person. So please pay careful attention to that. Now, having said that, will anybody and everybody develop the same manner? Not really. You heard all the emeralds and founder emeralds and diamonds on the call. One thing I hope you notice, every single one of them has different personality. Every single one of them has a different way to communicate. Some people's communication is crisp, some are able to articulate better, some are able to speak more simpler. It doesn't matter. They've all built big businesses. Now, you might have connected to one leader more than the other, or all of you will have somebody who will become more favorite in this call. Question is not that, especially at this level. I hope that's not how you evaluate leadership, on who was the good speaker. At this level, you want to evaluate leadership from learning from everybody. Learning from everybody. Am I making sense to you? I'll tell you what I learned from Paul and Leslie Miller. There's not a single talk of Paul Miller till date where he hasn't taken literally dedicated 5 to 10 minutes and edify his upline Bill Britt in a genuine, even if Bill is there or not there, even if he's talking somewhere else, he's in a different LOS talking, you listen to any of his talks. It's not that he only talks about upline when upline is there. I learned genuine edification from Paul and Leslie Miller. He's not even on my upline. He might, for some of you, Paul might be a slow speaker. You may not even relate to him. You're not paid to relate, you're paid to learn and implement. For some of you, Angelo might be speaking too fast. We can't be learn what you're doing. Angelo is speaking too fast. But you know what I've learned from Angelo and Claudia? Years of talks. Anytime he opens his mouth, Angelo, you'll hear about relationship, connecting with people, and there are unprecedented examples he sets in every time he talks. He'll always some example give you. For me, honestly, he talks too fast, to be honest with you. But you know what? Every time I might slow down the audio to understand him more. What are you learning? Now, let me change the gear on you. As you grow your business and your team starts developing, guess what? Now you'll have to do the same in your own team. Why? There's going to be different personalities. There's going to be different way people communicate in your own organization. If you're an aggressive personality, you might have 20 people in your team who are mellow personality. Now what are you going to do? Tell them to quit? I hope not. I hope you develop that ability to work and empower them at their level. Does that make sense to you? Like I said, it's a 30-minute talk. Let me just stop there, okay? Next thing, remember where you come from. Bill used to always say that, right? It is not a single talk of Bill Gates you'll hear. He'll talk about, I had $30. I put it under the mattress and I would listen to Yeager. This guy was making more money than him. I was upset. I didn't want to give him my money, right? Bill never forgot where he came from. Don't ever forget where you came from. It's the old saying, say, if you ever forget where you came from, God will make sure to send you back there. Right? Don't forget where you come from. Right? We've grown, we have moved on in life, but you know, even just last week I was talking to my kids about my first job in the United States, washing dishes. Not to tell them about dad, papa, where he came from. No, just to remind me, not to them, reminding me where I came from. Right? Where do you come from? Don't forget where you came from. Don't forget the journey you had, the amount of growth you grew to build, to get to the business, the skill set you had to develop. Don't ever forget where you come from, because that is what will keep you relatable with your new ideas, with your growing organizations. Am I making sense to you? You're going to be doing less leadership talks. You're going to be doing way more talk of connecting with people. And knowing where you came from will always keep you relatable. Am I making sense to you? Hope you understand that. Okay. You know, husband, wife working together, and Smita kind of mentioned it. You know, some of your singles on this call, a lot of your couples, now life moves on. You have kids. Guys, at every phase, understand the intensity and time management will change. What I could do when I was single, I remember listening to an old talk by Triple Diamond. This is what he said. I was single when I heard this. He said, now that I'm married, I spend more time maintaining my relationship than I ever spent building Amway. I about fell off my chair first time I heard that, and I'm single. I'm like, man, will I ever build a business, or will I won't even have time to build a business when I get married? You know, but the thing I failed to realize is, of course, now there are two people building business, like Julan Thassa said, right? She sleeps at 2 o'clock, he wakes up at 6. Now it looks like they're running 24 hours, you know, right? Am I making sense? So now here's the thing though, you will have to take the time. Guys, this is not running a Marriott or running some traditional, you know, cell phone store. Amway is about running it as a family. It's a family business, legacy business, right? Like Ritu mentioned that, hey, when JP was going through, you know, I was there with him all the time. Am I making sense to you? Now, it's not a theory talk. It is how you do it. This is what you do. You are together. Right? I mean, does that mean both of you are at the same level? No, sometimes one spouse is at a little higher level and understanding, maybe, you know, the way they operate, but you got to figure out what works between Ganesh and Rekha. It doesn't work between us. How we work is not how necessarily how Craig and Kerry work. They work very differently. The question is not, do they work? The question is, together, is it getting done? Am I making sense? So don't compare with your upline husband or upline wife, because as a unit, they might, and as a unit, you might, as long as the units are working together, fine, that's what matters. Individually, it's going to be different. Something your upline husband might be operating on, you might not be, and something your upline wife might be, lady might be, you may not be. And please don't compare it. As long as the unit is functional together, that is what matters. Am I making sense to you guys? So, and yes, you will have to spend that time for relationship, for conversation. To it's normal, right? And those of your kids, I'll tell you, I don't have too much time right now, and I'll some of your little kids, like I was talking to Craig and Kerry, other little, two little kids, right? And that's very different. They're listening to everything, they're wowed by you, and then suddenly they start growing up and they're 10, 11, 12, 13, and we're seeing that phase of a JP and Ritu. We've seen older kids and all that, and it changes. Now, here's the thing, guys. Keeping business pure inside closed doors is going to be extremely paramount for you if you want the legacy to be continued. Am I making sense to you? Very, very important. Very, very important. Otherwise, it's a legacy. And we don't have, we have phenomenal examples, of course, that you can all listen and learn. And you see the Jaeger families, the three sons, literally built a dynasty company out of it. It's unbelievable, right? So many, maybe you're going to see more and more in Brit team coming up. Now the Papalotta family is doing it, and you'll see more and more. The galas are starting to do it, and it's going to happen. We belong to a younger LOS, so the kids are a little bit, they're coming to age, and so you're going to start seeing that. The Reddys are doing it now, and I was talking to Ganesh about, how his son is now attending all meeting, all, team evaluations online, and you're going to see that, but it's a transition. But for that, listen to me, my friends, very, very carefully. You want to create success because there is so much gleam and glitter outside, not necessarily success outside, gleam and glitter, that you want to create that success, so they want to follow the success. And here's another thing I want you to understand. A lot of times kids will grow up and they'll do other things. Nothing wrong with that. But if you want to keep the family unit together, you got to build a massive dynasty. So they have something to plug into, something to be part of. Am I making sense to you guys? Very, very important. So please understand. Again, I don't have too much time to get into that. Okay, I'll wrap it up with this thing, guys. I have 5 minutes to wrap up. Okay, 3 powers and 3 never, something Bill always taught us. Okay, as your business grows and your leadership grows, and these are important things you need to understand. Don't mess with anybody's money, ego, or spouse. I don't care which country you live in, guys. Money is cash and carry. Don't borrow people money. Don't become a lender. You're in Amway business. You're not in lending business. Okay, do not unnecessarily create confusion in the group when it doesn't exist. Am I making sense to you? Don't create other business deals with your downlines. I'm telling you, it's going to ruin a relationship at some point. Am I making sense to you guys? Very, very important. Please understand. Keep the business pure. Okay. Ego, passing sharp comments, cute comments, quoting one leg to other leg and showing off one leg in front of that. Don't do any of that, guys. It's like comparing one kid with the other kid. You never do that. Each one is special. You talk about them leaders to them. Does that make sense? Very, very important. Ego. Okay. Spouse, don't create confusion. Bill Britt has kicked out, literally, executive diamond, double diamonds have been kicked out over to BWP messing with cardinal rules. Before you do anything, first time check with upline. Whether you're speaking on a team meeting for the first time, speaking on a function for the first time, going on a long distance trip for the first time, check with upline. Just run it by. It'll save you a lot of heartache. It'll save you a lot of time. It'll save you a lot of money in the long run. Just check it. Am I making sense to you? Right? And big one, no negative downline and crossline. Are you going to go through stuff? Yeah. None of the business for anybody else to know. Yeah, you upline. Yes. Be why? Why would you take situation to somebody who can't help you? Just to discuss it? Have a talk it out? No. Take it to somebody who can help you. Am I making sense to you guys? Right? For some people, you take your situation, they'll tell you good for you. Be very careful. Am I making sense to you guys? Be very careful, right? And 3 powers. And this is absolutely powerful, guys. I don't care which market you're in, guys. Power of unity. Stay united. You want, every single leader wants his team to be united. Oh, I want to keep my team united. Can I tell you something? If you are not united at your appliance level, your team will never stay united with you. Unity is an action word. Unity is an action word. Right? Vision Ganesh is in North America, we are plugged into that. Am I making sense to you? Now we're talking about Vision 10,000 globally. Every market we're talking about 10,000 vision. Why? We can see it happen. But it is part of the bigger vision that my appliance has. Am I making sense to you guys? Power of unity. Stay united. All for one, one for all. Unity doesn't mean you don't have differences. Unity means absolutely you're going to have difference, but unity means staying united in spite of your differences. A lot of you are trying to keep your chickens huddled. Not going to happen, my friend. You'll never be able to keep them huddled. I don't care how many leadership calls you do. If you are not united at a bigger level, you'll never have your team. I'm telling you, write it down, stamp it, take it from. Not a single, even Bill Britt having his own system is not a single tuck Bill will get on the stage and not talk about Dexter and Buddy again. Bill Britt. Even Dexter never showed up in any Brit functions. He didn't never need to be. But there's not a single talk by Bill Britt where he not mentioned Dexter and Buddy again. Are you united? Do you want your team to be united? Let me put it this way. It is actually selfish of you to stay united at a bigger level, because that's the only way you're going to keep your team united. Power of spoken word. Speak what you want, which you do not have, as if you already have it. A lot of you right now, I'll tell you honestly, man, I see that sliding. Spoken words is going away. A lot of you, will organically grow and see where the business grows. You'll grow squat. If you can speak a goal, if you don't know what your vision is, if you don't know how many eagles you're breaking, what kind of numbers you're going to function, there's some goal. When you're going platinum, when you're going ruby, if there is no deadline, there is no working towards it, you'll never get there. And guess what? That culture is going to get duplicated in your organization, and then nobody's speaking goals anymore. If you're wondering, you're struggling, why nobody in your organization is anymore speaking goals, look at the mirror. Speak what you want, which you do not have, as if you already have it. Don't speak what you don't want, even if you have it. Speak it, guys. There's power of spoken words. There's power in verbalizing what you want. I don't care what you speak in your team meeting, what you speak in your own bathroom, in your own house when nobody's watching. It's not what you speak in your BMPs, guys. Not in the broadcast messages. It's what you're speaking in your... Now that, you feel free to speak in your broadcast messages, feel free to claim it, right? Am I making sense to you? Very, very important. Okay, and power of submission. Submitting to a mission. Guys, this is important. Mission is financial freedom. Mission is going diamond. Mission is creating wealth. That's all. That's what you're doing. That's what you're... All submitting means you're aligning yourself with somebody for that goal. That's it. When you're going for a doctor checkup, if your doctor is younger than you, are you going to go fight with them? What do you know about life, man? You're 2 years younger than me. What do you know about life? Why are you telling me what medicine I should eat? Do you do that? You better be in darn submission to the doctor when you go there, isn't it? Yes or no? There's nothing to do with how old or young he is. A man knows what the heck he's doing, or the woman knows what she's doing, so shut up. Be in submission when you go to the doctor's office. Now, when it comes to building Amway business, they may not know. It has nothing to do with it. Am I making sense to you guys? It is knowing, guys, it's a mission. When the mission is getting healthy, getting medication for being sick, you submit yourself to the doctor. It's as simple as that. When the mission is building Amway, creating success, you submit, you work with the upline. That's it. As simple as that. Am I making clear? So please understand that. Now, leaders who grow do all three things together. And some people are united speaking it, but not in submission. Some people are not in submission, united, but not speaking. Guys, you want power on your side. You want to do all three powers together. Am I making sense to you guys? Vision 10,000 done deal. No big deal, man. We're putting 10,000 in each market. You don't like it, hide in the bushes and watch, man. Because it's happening. Why? We have the most united, we have the most trustworthy, we have the most loyal, we have the most hardworking IPOs in the entire world of Amway. Why do we have it? Because we speak it. That's what we have. Speak what you want, which you do not have, as if you already have it. Am I making sense to you guys? If you cannot see, if you don't understand diversity sitting in this call, you'll never understand diversity anywhere in your life. Am I making sense to you? So hope you understand that, right? Guys, I'll tell you, we're so proud of each and every one of you, right? I know it's way late, 2 a.m. in East Coast time. I know Midwest is at 1 a.m. already. Okay, I hope we added value. I hope you took things you can implement and grow in your business. We wish you guys good luck for the new fiscal year starting in 5 weeks. We love each and every one of you. I wish we can be in your own living room, sit down next to you in your sofa, put our hands around you, give you a hug, tell you that, hey man, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be great. Future is bright. Okay, I know some of you might be going through stuff. We'll keep you in our prayers, but I'll tell you this, man, you guys are fighters. If you can get to 3 partner earning legs, silver and above, man, you can fight it out, right? Anything we can do for you, let us know. We love you guys. Let's make it happen, man. Let's make a global stinking presence in such a way that dynasties are going to come after you, going to talk about it. Am I making sense to you? So we love you guys. Have a fantastic day, morning, night, depending on which part of the world you are. Over and out. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.